Joy Verplank, VP of Partner en AVEVA. Joy, estás con nosotros. Bienvenida. Puedes subir por este lugar. Un aplauso para Joy. Adelante. Muy bien. Joy, el dispositivo se encuentra ahí y el piso es tuyo. Tienes 15 minutos. Adelante. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you for welcoming me to your country. It is the first time that I've been here, so I appreciate the warm welcome from you, and I look forward to speaking with you today. I am honored to have been invited to join the conference by one of my partners. There are several of our partners here, but partnering today is no longer just an option, it's really a necessity. So again, very fortunate to be here. And I have to say, I have to apologize because I will be speaking in English. I can speak a little bit of Spanish, but I think you'll understand my English better, frankly. So I'll speak in English as well. Thank you, Andrew, for that, for leading the way. So today I'm going to talk to you about connected technologies and how that's a catalyst for sustainability. And when I talk about connected technologies, I'm talking about connected technologies like advanced analytics, predictive maintenance, MES solutions that help us all to collaborate, to use your word, in the field, at the sites, and to make smarter decisions faster, which is a necessity today as well. But first, let's start with the ever-present challenges that we have and the disruption in the market. Disruption today in industry is the standard operating model for all of us, and I'm sure that you can all relate to these disruptive situations. Is there anyone in the room that doesn't relate to these, or at least to one of these? Supply chain challenges are causing planning to be more and more difficult. Our customers' expectations of us, because our customers are they're so well educated today that their expectations of us are that much higher. And competition, profit margins being so tight that competition and competitive pricing is, challenging all of us and our customers as well. The workforce transformation, I think a lot of the speakers have spoken about this, but we're challenged with our employees, the knowledge of our employees. I've recently myself, I've had 2 employees retire in the last month, so finding that expertise to come and to help, it's a challenge for all of us. And of course, the geopolitical and environmental challenges with the disruption of that for all of us, it's been an incredible challenge. I can tell you personally, my daughter is in Hawaii and they've just had all of the flooding, and that's impacting the businesses in Hawaii, closing down universities, closing down operations. So the environmental disruption, AI and innovation, it's hard for any of us to keep up, let's be honest. But we are using AI to make our solutions that much more intelligent. But it is helping us to move faster, but it's difficult not to be reactive in a situation like that. So regulation changes, Andrew talked about that as well. Previous speakers yesterday were speaking about the regulatory compliance and the changes within specifically the mining, but also all of industry today. And of course, security risks. So all of this being said, these do lead to opportunities, not just for us as vendors or as software companies, but also for our customers to think differently, and for us to approach our customers to help them think differently about how they design, build, operate, and then optimize their assets. And all of this leads to a more sustainable, to sustainability. So the volatility, all of this disruption causes volatility. Again, the rising costs Wholesale energy is expected to rise by 19%, or 19% by 2028. And operational costs, again, they're exceeding even what we're planning for. The workforce pressures, 10 years of knowledge has to be replaced within 3. So that's a challenge for all of us. The turnover, the new expectations of employees, the challenges that we all have keeping employees and keeping employees happy because of the competitive market. Energy transition and the regulatory compliance, which I spoke about earlier, and I'll speak about a little bit more on the next slide, but again, a lot of opportunity around that as well for all of us with respect to sustainability specifically and meeting all of those high standards that we all have to meet today. And then, let me just see. Oh, I think it's really interesting. For some reason, this one it's a specific pain point for me. We've talked about silos a lot and about siloed information, and people do fear breaking those silos because sharing that information, even across our own organizations, can make us nervous. It opens up access to the data that we may not want to share with even our own colleagues, because they can be critical or they can use the information in different ways perhaps. But do you know that only 5% of the enterprise data is properly utilized? And again, that's due to the high friction of the silos. But let's talk a little bit more about the energy transition. There will be 12 trillion, with a T, $12 trillion injected into this space because of the pressures that are being put on us by the ESG and the shipping and compliance. So that, again, is huge opportunity for all of us. Oh, I went back instead of forward. I won't revisit the pain. That's enough pain. Let's talk about opportunity. So what does all of this mean for connected technologies, and how does connected technology really help? With connected technology, such as one unified operations center, where you can visualize and anticipate your own information and your customers' information, help with real-time performance, and monitoring the real-time performance of assets, of the operations of your individual mines, perhaps, predictive maintenance and cost savings, carbon and ESG analytics, data center solutions. So we work with a lot of data centers to help. There's a ton of pressure for data centers today with the influx of information and data. And then resource cost optimization. Again, we're losing employees, losing information, losing intelligence. So really optimizing the resources that we do have, both physical and soft. Supply chain visibility. We've talked about the fact that lack of visibility causes a lack of planning. So we want to give better access to the visibility of the supply chain. I won't go through all of these. So how can you measure this? How do you know that this is truly driving sustainability? How do you monetize the value of sustainability? We've done this with several of our customers. Many of these many of these likely your colleagues or your competitors in some cases perhaps. But so Rio Tinto, as an example, they were able to avoid the cost of failed motors, mill motors, to avoid $12 million in that cost. So cost savings, and then Petronas, in the first year, we were able to reduce their unplanned downtime, so they saved $17.4 million in their first year. because they were able to reduce their unplanned downtime with things like predictive analytics and connecting that technology so that they had visibility and were aware that it was going to happen. Let's see. There's so many, I'm not going to go through all of them, so I'm deciding which one to talk to you all about. But Duke Energy is another one that always catches my eye. They were able to save $34.5 million by single early warning systems and alarms that helped them to prevent catastrophe. And in a lot of instances, Rio Tinto as an example, one failure causes not just the failure, not just the repair of a silo or of a pump, but instead it's downtime. It's literally catastrophic for them. CBMM, so this is another customer that we've helped to reduce their energy consumption in one furnace alone by 5.5%. And enabled them to reduce their cycle times by 7% with an energy cost savings of $140,000. So you can see that that's huge for them. And it's also, from a sustainability perspective, it gives them better ratings, better reporting, better access, better visibility. Vale, you're all familiar with Vale likely, in Brazil. We've helped them with automated reports and alarms which have reduced failure in response time so they can react and respond faster. So sustainability through connected technologies and industrial information helps to bring the consumption and emissions of the KPIs to the forefront so that we can utilize those and access those. They're more self-service, more standardized, so people, no matter who's looking at them, they're used to what they're looking at, so they can read them better, they understand the information better, and they can also report on them. Collating the data from hundreds of different assets, and again, all of this is due to the connected technology, being able to connect from different sites even, to pull this all together, to collate that information from multiple assets on multiple sites in order to better calculate the KPIs and have a holistic view of the mine in a lot of your cases. But it also empowers your teams to be able to think on their feet, to react faster, but not just reactive, to be more proactive, to be able to, I always tell my team, it's really easy to be a part of the problem. It's really easy to stand by the water cooler and talk about all of the issues, but this connected technologies allows our employees to stand around and talk about new solutions, new ideas, to truly collaborate on and ideate on new ways of doing things. And it empowers employees and makes them feel like they're a part of something bigger as opposed to constantly being reactive. So I've talked a lot about the pain points, but just to talk about some of the ways, again, that we've helped our customers and their customers, frankly, to solve some of these problems. Unreliable, and again, specifically in metals and mining, but unreliable conveyors in remote mining operations, critical conveyor run times they run for miles, facing really harsh conditions, as you're all probably more aware than me, because I've only got to visit your sites, not actually run them. But in a European copper mine, just as an example, they used bearing anomaly detection on a 3-mile conveyor to identify failures early and to avoid, again, that unplanned downtime. Energy-intensive pumping systems. Mining operations obviously rely heavily on pumps for slurry and transport and dewatering, but efficient losses are often hidden, so we don't see a lot of these. I recently heard a story about a mining an operation where there was a leak in the bat. They actually thought that it was a stream, that was a natural stream running behind their operation. Come to find out, it was a leak in their water system, and so it was undetected. So imagine pump systems that were optimized by AI-driven functionality with insights that could reduce unnecessary use of CO2 emissions and also maintain more reliable throughput in order to help. It's flashing at me. Okay, I'll hurry. I think I'm out of time. Here, I thought I was gonna be too fast. I normally speak way too fast, so I'm trying to speak very slowly. But I will leave you with this slide, which really does show the benefit of connected technologies and sustainability. And I'll also invite you to my partner, Levex, to the booth, where we'll be to answer questions for you on how we can assist with all of these different areas with solutions, connected technologies. So thank you so much for your attention, and I hope to meet all of you out there.
Thank you very much, Joy. Thank you for
you.
visiting us.
Thank you.
Wonderful. We have
So I
diploma for you. Questions over there, of course. You have a lot. But it's great. No sé si les suena mucho, pero el tema de los silos está siendo un aspecto muy interesante de romper. No es fácil trabajar en silos y se pierde la transparencia en la unidad de trabajo, lo que hace muy complicado cualquier proyecto de innovación, cualquier proyecto grande. Joy nos ha hablado algo interesante de la unidad, la manera creativa como podemos utilizar las diferentes tecnologías para poder encontrar KPIs, cómo mejorar la operación. Eso es fantástico, muy interesante. Viendo lo que decía de los data centers como un crecimiento, ustedes saben que los data centers consumen alrededor de 3 a 5% de la energía eléctrica de una ciudad. Los high scalers data centers, cada vez es más complicado construir data centers cerca a las ciudades por el ruido que hacen y los ESG, los indicadores de sostenibilidad global. Si no pensamos en ello, muchos de nuestras acciones o proyectos dejan de ser atractivos incluso para los inversionistas y para las políticas de sus universidades, de sus empresas. Interesante lo que Joy nos ha mostrado ahora.